Hi, I'm Ztarli and welcome to part 2 of my video of drawing a Singe Crest from the video game Day of Dragons. Picking up from where we left off, I've already done the background, line layer and flat colours, and I'm now moving on to the shadow layer. So I've just picked a greeny sort of colour and I'm just blocking out some shadows on a different layer at the moment, and then later on I will integrate it more into the character. I'm just trying to find where the shadows would lay at the moment before refining the shading further. Now I'm just adjusting my shadow layer, so changing the opacity, changing the blending style, and then I also adjust the color a bit using hue and saturation before moving on to the next stage of shading. I'm now just adding different shadow colors to the shadow layer. I find it makes things much more interesting if you use different colors and you don't just stick to one color for all of the shadows. I'm also lightening up and doing some reflected light. I'm trying to get the idea across that there is water below or around the Singe Crest, which is why I'm adding in some lighter sort of aqua colours to the picture. If anybody missed part 1 and would like to go back and watch it, I will put a link to part 1 of this video in the description below. You catch me adding more blush to the chest and around the eyes of this dragon in a moment, and I know you can't really blush through scales, but I'm so addicted to adding blush to creatures at this stage that there's no stopping me. It's going to be on every single one of my pictures. Sorry, not sorry. Time to try and integrate those patterns into the picture again. I just dropped the opacity down. I don't actually change the blending style, as I'd already gone through different blending styles for the pattern and I wasn't very happy with any of them. So just turning opacity down, and now I'm adding some lighter colors on top of those layers to try and make it look like it's actually, the pattern's actually part of the creature and not just some stickers that have been stuck on its skin. I'm done with my rough shadows and highlights, and the line layers are done, so now it's time to combine everything and go on to the painting stage. So from this point on, all of the creature's colours are all on one layer, and I'm just grabbing the bamboo paintbrush or the bamboo pen, and I'm just taking colours and mixing them with the colours that are already on the creature. So I'll just use a lighter colour and then I'll teardrop or sample the colour in between the lighter colour and the colour that's already there and paint back over it to give the picture this painted sort of style. This is usually the longest stage in my process, and I can sometimes spend quite a few hours just doing the painting stage, but in a speed paint like this I usually only spend an hour doing this, with an hour usually being spent on the rest of the picture, like sketching and line art and adding a background. Some people may question at this point why I even bothered doing finished line art if I was just going to paint over the top of the whole thing. Then there was a point in time when I didn't actually draw line art on my pictures, I just went straight from sketch to colour. But I have found that doing the line art and making solid sort of lines on the picture does help me find the form of the creature. And it's also kind of fun just to have that line art if I later on decide to just do a more cell shaded style of painting instead. It's all a very messy process, but I think that's half the fun. I use smaller strokes on this picture than I normally would. I'm trying to get the idea across that the creature's covered in tiny scales, and perhaps it's just come out of the water and there's like little glints of light reflecting off it. I'm not entirely sure how well that came across, but that was the idea I was trying to convey anyway. In hindsight, this would have been much easier on me if I decided to keep that pattern layer separate from the main body and just colour the body underneath first in my paintery style, and then perhaps coloured the patterns on a separate layer and then merged them at the end. But it's way too late for takesy backsies now, so I'm stuck painting it this way. I mentioned in my previous video that I prefer the four-legged dragons better, and that's true. I do like the 6 limbs with 2 wings and 4 legs better than wyverns, but I'm particularly fond of how the Singe Crest looks. I guess that's why I'm doing art of it. But my very favourite kind of dragon is sort of Asian dragons with the long noodles with the 4 legs that sort of swim through the sky. So my own dragon character that I made for myself is actually kind of a little bit of a mix between an Asian dragon and a Western dragon. It's got like the hair along the spine, and its horns are kind of like antelope horns. And I chose it to have its breath weapons like my favourite element, which is lightning. So it sort of shoots lightning from between its horns or at its mouth. And yes, it flies through the sky like a creature would swim in the water. Her name's Ztarli, by the way, which is my middle name. That's why my sign-on name is Ztarli. It's like the Tarli and it's Ztarli. Yeah, I came up with it when I was 13 and it's kind of stuck. I decided to fix up the pupil at this stage. I think it's too large, so I'm just making it smaller and then repainting the colour in the eye. Just adding a tiny bit of reflection of the sky and the eye, so just adding a bit of blue to the dark part in the eye. I find this makes the eye look more three-dimensional. Then I move on to the top highlights, so pretty much using white at this stage, just trying to make everything look really shiny, again trying to convey that this is a slippery creature that perhaps just came out of the water. I really like how that front shoulder is looking. I like how it looks almost metallic and it's super shiny. I was quite happy how that came out. I'm trying to add a bit more aqua into the bottom of the picture here again. I was trying to get the idea that once again there's water below it, but I decide I don't like it, so I just end up undoing it all and removing that particular colour. I'm now returning to that background, so just putting the finishing touches on the cliff. I also noticed that my horizon line is not level, so I adjust it. I just turn it a little bit so that it does end up level with the actual horizon. I crop it down and then I add some shine to the water so it looks less like a strange aqua field of grass and more like actual water, or it could actually be the sea. I then decide to add some clouds in the background. And I'd like to point at this stage, I'm very bad at drawing clouds. I try to get the idea of windswept clouds here, but it doesn't really come across that well. But I'm not terribly concerned because I do plan to defocus all the stuff in the background so it's less visible by the end of the picture. I'm adding in an extra layer here with a really fuzzy brush. I'm just adding a bit of what I guess would be sea mist coming up from the bottom of the picture, again just to make the character the focus of the picture and the background less in focus. I also decide that the sea is too green, and so I make it a more blue colour, so again it's a more believable ocean and less like a field of grass. I've now decided I also don't want an entire background, and instead I just want like a splash of a background. So I'm painting over the top of the background and to try and make it look like somebody just brushed the brush and you've got a magic window to the sea or something. I don't know. I also want the white parts of this picture, besides the outline of the dragon, to be transparent. So I've painted this the wrong way to do that, but that's okay. I've worked out how to fix it and I'll do that right now. So what I actually end up doing is duplicating the background layer and merging the white layer to the background layer, then just selecting the white and cutting it out of the picture, and then I redraw in that white outline. So I've ended up with just a white outline and the coloured background, and all the grey that you see on the picture actually ends up transparent. Now I'm just adding my signature in and the picture is finished. So that's it. What do you all think? Let me know if you think I'm a good artist or a bad artist, or if you thought this video was helpful or unhelpful. Basically anything at all, just comment in the comment section down below. I'm very open to feedback and happy to help if anybody else wants any tips on their own art. After looking back on this picture, I'm not 100% happy with it. I think there are some problems around the jaw area or the end of the nose, and I'm thinking of going back and fixing that up. If you'd like to see that, let me know in the comments below. I may record a touch-up video just so you guys can see how I fix things after I've already finished a picture. Well, thank you all for watching. If you like this video, please click the like button. Also feel free to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!